My short-term price target, my target for this rally was, all right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do our daily Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update, but this is a weekend edition, so we've got a few extra things coming your way. So we talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel, so if that is content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it makes a big difference, and I really appreciate it. It helps get this video out to more people. I'm going to start on the Bitcoin miner big board because today is Saturday, so there's no trading of the equities. So this is where everything ended on the NASDAQ yesterday. And yesterday, there was some big moves. So if we look at the board, once again, everything is green on this entire board with one exception. For whatever reason, there always seems to be one outlier. Iris Energy, stock ticker IREN, was down 4.34%. They were down much more than that earlier in the day. It was not unusual volume. I didn't see any news, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but that was the only outlier. Other than that, it was basically a green day, and for the Canadian Bitcoin miners in specific, it was an extremely green day. So I'm going to start there at the top of the list. Bitfarms was up 14.9%, and it finally closed at that elusive $2. Hut 8 was up 18.9%. Hut 8 was the leader all day today, and Hive blockchain was up 13.8%. So those were big moves to the upside. But the rest of the Bitcoin miners did just fine also. Riot was up 4%, Marathon was up 6%. Those are the two biggest market cap companies, so they both had nice days as well. So for the most part, all of the larger Bitcoin miners really had a very nice Friday, and that caps off a very good week. And that's really the extension of about a 5-week period that has really just been outstanding for Bitcoin. So I am going to show you guys a chart of basically the last 5 weeks roughly, and that chart is from July 1st through Friday, which was August 12th. There's 5 Bitcoin miners that have more than doubled. There's one that's more than tripled. So at the top of the list, you've got Marathon is up 242% since July 1st. So again, that's really, I mean, it's 5 or 6 weeks, however you want to count it. So less than a month and a half, and you've got Marathon up 242%. You've got Hut up 165%. And remember, Hut was the leader today. They had a very big day. You've got Hive up 140%, Riot up 137%, and Core Scientific up 126%. So to me, those are all the stocks that have more than doubled in a 5 or 6 week window of time. So a lot of times you'll see thumbnails, this is going to 2x, that's going to 3x, and you always think it's clickbait, but the thing is, in the Bitcoin mining industry, this is what happens. Now, on the flip side, most of these stocks from their highs in November to their lows in June of 2022, most of these stocks were down between 90 and 95%. Some were down even more than that. So obviously the move can be just as dramatic to either side. But when you get to the point where you're 90% down off of your 52-week high, you have a legitimate chance at a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5x. Oftentimes, that won't even get you back to where you were on your 52-week high. So we can see, I don't know how much longer this run is going to go. We're going to look at some of the technicals and see what we think is there any more steam in this rally? This is now a 5 or 6 week rally. I think this is a relief rally. I don't think we turned the corner back into a bull market yet, but that remains to be seen. I mean, the longer this goes on, the more you could argue that we are starting to enter a bull rally. I'm still saying this is a relief rally, and at some point we're going to have a pullback. I do believe that Bitcoin has hit its low, and the Bitcoin miners, even more so than Bitcoin, have all hit their lows. They got down to some very unreasonable prices. Almost every single one of these companies was trading as if there was a high probability they were going out of business. So that's where they all were, in mid to late June, and this chart starts on July 1st. So that's where they were when this started. So obviously they have begun their journey back, but you'll see there's even a bunch of stocks in the middle. You've got Stronghold up 93%. That's a gigantic move, but it's not quite a double. DMG Blockchain's up 81%. Bitfarms is up 79%. So really, Bitfarms, Hut, and Hive have moved somewhat, I'm not going to say in unison, but they have had related moves all along. And right now, Bitfarms is lagging behind those two. Hive and Hut are up 140 and 165%. Bitfarms is up 79%. So that is a fantastic move to the upside. But for me personally, I do believe that that one is still lagging behind. And so please be careful when buying these stocks. If we're looking at one thing jumps out on the page as we look at this chart, it's that these stocks are extremely volatile. Starting at around GREE, they're up around 64%. So that's a very strong move to the upside, but still obviously not competing with the leaders. GREE has not put out their July operational report, so I am going to call out GREE, Mawson, and Stronghold. Now, we're still not getting monthly reports from Wolf and Cypher, so they did say both of those companies put out a press release that they started mining, one in February, one in March. It's now August, and we have no mining operational updates from those two companies. So I know that most of their gear up was going to be in the second half of the year, but it would be nice to have some updates. How many Bitcoin have you mined? If you've been mining for 4 or 5 months, you know, you must have mined something. Let us know. So those 5 companies, I think GREE will put their numbers out. I'm not sure. Mawson and Stronghold are having a bit of a struggle right now. And so I don't know that they're going to put their monthly numbers out. They had been putting them out very reliably, so I'm not sure we're going to get those this month or not. So I will stay tuned. I usually give until the 15th of the month. Sometime in the middle of the week, I will do my monthly comparison on how everybody performed in July. But unfortunately, we still have 5 people that have not yet reported, some of which may not report. So we're going to go with what we got. There's a massive difference between a 54% move to the upside that CleanSpark has had and a 242% move to the upside that Marathon has had, or 165% move to the upside that Hut has had. So some of this is based on performance. Some of this is just based on when these stocks get their runs. So that's what you guys need to decide. But I do think it's useful information to understand this is what has already happened in July and August when you're trying to make your decision on buying in. Of course, I tend to dollar cost average in and out of things. So, you know, I'm not ever making a do I want to jump all into a stock type of a decision. Anyway, there you can see the performance over the last 6 weeks. This is one of the best industries in the entire market over the last 6 weeks. The small cap high growth stocks have been starting to rally. So I don't know how much longer that's going to last, but this group is a part of that bigger group. And you know, 140, 150, 160, 200%. These are giant moves to the upside. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so as always, there's an orange line where the equity markets closed on Friday. So it had regained that $24,000 mark, which was a critical mark. You can see it did dip a little bit below that right after the closing on Friday, but so far for the 24 hours after that, we have been above that line. We did get as high as 24,898 overnight last night. You'll see this purple line, we got basically back to that same place about 2 days ago. So we seem to be testing that spot. Really, my price target for this entire relief rally has been this blue line right here at 25,336. So we really haven't gotten close to that yet. We do keep setting higher highs and higher lows. So the progression has been good, but it does look like when we look at some of the indicators, it looks like maybe we're starting to run out of steam a little bit or slow down. That doesn't mean that the run is over. So I am still hopeful there's at least one leg back up to this 25,366, and I still think there's a chance, as we look at the other charts I'll explain, I still think there's a chance we could run all the way up to 28,800 on this relief rally. Obviously, again, these are my own personal price targets. This is not financial advice. I don't know the future. But let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. That's the one that's been the most meaningful to me over the last 6 to 8 weeks. However, I'm kind of switching to the 1-day chart now, so I want to take a look at both because I think they're both telling us something. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So each one of these candles represents 4 hours. You will see that right here, this was June 18th. This is when Bitcoin bottomed at around $17,600. So we're up substantially from there. In fact, I'll measure. So from the bottom to where we're trading right now is about a 39% move. To the top, we're almost at a 40% move to the upside in what I am calling a relief rally, but I am also calling that 17,600 as the bottom in Bitcoin. That doesn't mean we're straight up from here. I do think we will probably revisit some lower numbers. And like I said, I think this rally is not out of steam, but running out of steam. So at some point, we will likely have a pullback. I don't know to where, but it's my personal opinion that we have bottomed out. And I don't think we're going back to 17,600. And that would be the worst case scenario, in my opinion, is that we quickly flash crashed and revisited that low. But at this point, I don't even believe we're going to do that. The one thing I wanted to show you is in the first 4 weeks of this rally, you could clearly see higher highs and higher lows. This was moving in the right direction. Well, this last run up, you can see for the last, this is from July 28th until August 12th. So that's a couple of weeks. The last 2 weeks, this has been all inside of this circle. This has been very much more sideways. So this very distinct pattern that we were following, this was a very easy trade for about a month. But for the last couple of weeks, it's been more sideways. It's still been sideways and slightly to the upside, so that's why I'm saying I still think there's room left, but you can see a distinct change here. If we look at the 4-hour RSI, you'll see this original arrow was this first leg up on this rally. I cloned this arrow 2 more times, so you can see we had the identical run up 2 more times. We got back to oversold and had this same identical run up, and then we did it again. Then we got back to oversold, and we had a little bit of a steeper run up this time. So we got to a higher high faster, but from there you can see even the RSI has been very sideways. We're starting to hit lower highs on the 4-hour RSI. So we'll see if that continues, but all of these would be indications that maybe this relief rally is running out of steam. Let's just take a look at the daily chart. The daily chart to me looks like a little more good news. So although we may be running out of steam in the short term and we may end up with a 1 or 2 week pullback, this daily time chart to me is showing some very good things. The first thing is I've taken all my lines off. The only line on here is the 200-week moving average. You guys know I've been talking about this nonstop since we hit this and went below it. And the reason for that is Bitcoin does not go below the 200-week moving average. In the history of Bitcoin, this is only the 3rd time it's ever gone below the 200-week moving average. The other 2 times, it almost immediately moved back up and reestablished that as support. This time, you'll see we spent an extended period of time underneath this. And, we still seem to be in a scenario where we're testing this. Now, it does look like on July 30th, we got about 9% above the 200-week moving average. We then had a bunch of red days in a row where it almost looks like you could argue that we tested this as a line of support and that it held, because this is a bounce and we've moved back up and we are now an even higher number than we were a week and a half ago. The one thing that's concerning is there is one daily candle that did close below this. So, technically we did lose this for 1 day, but you could argue that this was a very healthy retest of the 200-week moving average. So that would tend to indicate that, in general, from a bigger picture standpoint, from a longer time frame standpoint, we're starting to move in the right direction. Okay, I'm going to bring the lines back and I want to look at the RSI on the 1-day time frame. So I wanted to catch this in the middle of the day because I have not been able to catch this yet. So the daily RSI peaked back on July 19th. So that was quite some time ago, and that was at around 61, just a little over 61. Well, we revisited that again on July 28th, and we basically got rejected from that. Now, what you can't see on here is there have been about 4 days in this area where in the middle of the day, we actually went above this line. We were up in the low to mid 60s 4 different times, today being the 5th time now. Now, as I'm recording, I'm catching it in the middle of the day. So this right here is not a final number. So this is not confirmed. So this looks like a move and a break above this line, but this day was also a break above that line, but it ended up down at 59. So despite the fact that in the middle of the day, it was at 64, it pulled back. One of the things that would tell me we have a nice bit of room left, maybe potentially to get up to that 28,800 target, is if we could start to close the daily RSI above this line. So if this can hold for the day and close above this line, unlike the last 4 times it tried and did break through but did not finish the day above that line. So that would be the single biggest thing that I am going to be looking for. Can we finish a daily RSI above that 61 number that we've hit several times, 5 or 6 or 7 days? Okay, so just to round out on the 15-minute time frame, you'll see we're at about 24,553. So we've maintained, we're well above that $24,000 line. The other thing that I would be looking for is my short-term price target. My target for this rally was 25,366. So we're still a solid $800 away from that. So I'll be looking for that as well. If anything meaningful happens, I will check in again and do another video tomorrow. So thanks so much for watching. Remember, if you made it this far, please subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Be careful trading, and thanks so much for watching.